Hey, what's going on, guys? James here with the Barrie Game Exchange. It's been a long time coming. Things have been closed down for a couple of years because of the pandemic. But as you can see, things are starting to get back to normal. And thank goodness for that. Look at this crowd. Tons and tons of tables. Just fantastic to be able to actually go out and do something like we used to back in the old days. Anyways, let's go ahead and get ourselves a couple of shots on the floor and what I picked up for the day. Alright, so that is a little peek at what the show had to offer. I think it was something crazy like a couple hundred tables. You could get everything. Old video games, new. Someone had made some clocks with different themes. There was Funkos. There was anything nerd-wise, you could pretty much find it there. Anyways, it was a fantastic day. My appreciation to Chris and his crew for putting it on. I know it's been a couple of years since you've been able to do it, but it did not disappoint. Anyways, let's get right on into what I grabbed throughout the day. And I will say this is probably the least amount that I've walked away with, but this is probably one of my better finds in terms of a gift for sure. But, I've had some epic finds there in the past. My copy of Earthworm Jim CD, that was at a prior Barrie show. I've had some good times, but I normally walk out with a lot more. This time, I was a little more conservative on the spending. But nonetheless, let's get right on into it. First up, we have Batman Returns. This was raved about by Tom over at Do Your Nerd. And he had nothing but praise for this, pretty much. Specifically, I believe he said the audio is top-notch on this, so I'm really looking forward to putting this on the 5.1 surround system downstairs. Just letting it blare, that'd be dope. Anyways, I grabbed this from Justin's Table from Fly By Nights. He has a store in Oshawa. Super nice guy. I said, hey, I'm looking for X. He immediately found it on his table and had it at $35. And he said straight up, I don't mind if you want to look around, see if you can find it for another price somewhere else, and make your way back if you want it. So he knows how it works. And I did do a bit of a tour around because I didn't want to just drop my money immediately and find something else. I'm like, oh, darn, I kind of spent the cash elsewhere. But every other table did have it for exactly $35, and they were in terrible, terrible condition. This is like straight out of the box from yesterday. It's honestly mint. It almost looks like a reproduction. That's how friggin' good it looks. It's about as good as you could ask for a used cartridge. Alright, next up. Windjammers on the Switch. Now, I'm a big Neo Geo guy. This is one that is pretty much unobtainable. It's just too expensive to buy the legit cartridge. So this is a great backup to be able to play it, and honestly on new hardware that's portable. I could take it around to other conventions if I'm staying the night, have a couple of people over in the hotel room, you can, do a little bit of multiplayer. So this was a nice little grab too, and this was offered to me for $30 from my buddy Derek, and we will get back into what Derek hooked me up with at the end here. Next up, you know darn well I was going to walk away with a MVS cartridge if I found one. And I ended up with Striker's 1945 Plus. I'll put a little bit of footage here that I took from the cabinet. And yeah, this one here, I honestly didn't even really know anything about this. But when I did a quick little Google search, apparently it's not the most expensive game out there, but it does hold a fair decent value. And it's kind of one of the more sought after ones, if I'm not mistaken. So it's your typical 1945, 1944, that style of bullet hell shooter, only Neo Geoized. So that was kind of a neat find, and I ended up paying $150 for this. The vendor had said that he wanted $180. I walked away, 20 minutes, went back, and I'm like, you know what? Normally I save this tactic for right at the end of the show, because then people are kind of more willing to wheel and deal, but I couldn't stay for the whole day. I was on call later that night. So I just said to him, hey, you know what? Will you accept $150 on that? And he was amicable and didn't even fight me on. He's like, yeah, I can do $150, no problem. So that's how I ended up with my copy of 1945 Plus for the Neo Geo MVS. And this will be a nice little addition for when people come over and have a couple of beers or a barbecue. Just something else a little bit more obscure that I could throw into the cabinet for people to enjoy. Now for the last item. Hopefully I do not have this crash onto the floor. Oh goodness, yes. Now let me say that this was extremely unexpected. I knew I was getting the Game Gear. I made a deal on this before the pandemic started. And yeah, well obviously I had to wait. So, to my surprise, Derek brought this to the show in this fancy case, and I'm like, oh, you know, that case is pretty cool. He's like, oh no, the case is yours too, everything. So the case, there's a 3D printed stand for it, and the actual Game Gear. And let me just go into a bit of better, closer footage on this, because me showing it to you through the camera like this won't do it justice. But I will still continue just talking. Anyways, like I said, we had made a deal on this, and then I showed up, and he's like, oh yeah, I got this beautiful display case and 3D printed stand and all. I was like, oh, dude, that's really awesome. You know what? You know, let me just settle my damage with you. And he's like, oh no, you've been a good guy and helped me out with things in the past, and it's just yours to take. And I was honestly speechless, because this is quite elaborate for someone to just give to you. And I gotta say, like, I mean, I was speechless. I fought with him at the table, you know, let me throw you money. And he was having none of that. So I gotta say that I am honestly in shock and awe not only to add this to my collection, but in a beautiful display case. Like, so I got the top of it there. Nice little sarcophagus for it. I'll show this on powered up in a future video. I'm going to do like a Game Gear collection. I've got 60 plus carts. Now this, and a fully boxed North American version Game Gear. Like I said, just talking about this kind of gets me choked up as to how he was so freaking generous with this. Like we've had our dealings in the past where, you know, he comes over, you know, one time, and, you know, I just shove some crap in his face, you know, just take it, and I won't get into the details of that, because, you know, those are wheels and deals between buds. But honestly, bud, there's not much I could do to repay you for this. I just hope that in the future you come by again. You know what? We'll have a barbecue with the family. You can take a rummage to the basement, and I can send you out the door with some more crap that maybe, hopefully, you're happy with, because I am certainly very happy with this. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, and I will catch you next time.